Hare Krishna. So I welcome you all to this session 17 of our Bhakti Pravesa. In the theme of sadhana, we are discussing about the 5 potent forms of bhakti. We have already completed discussing about the holy name, devotees association, and Srimad Bhagavatam. These 2 weeks, we're going to discuss about deity worship, Archa Vigraha or Shri Vigraha Aradhana. So, in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, there is a description of 5 manifestations of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Yeah. So those 5 manifestations are, number 1 is Para. Second is Vyuha. Third is Vibhava. Fourth is Antaryami. And fifth is Archa Vigraha. So what are these 5-fold manifestations? This is the way the Lord is present, is manifest. What is the Para form? The Para is, the inaccessible form of the Lord. Yeah, the omniscient Lord who is present, in his form as the all-knowing Supreme Personality. The Para form. The second is the Vyuha. The Vyuha form is when the same Supreme Absolute Truth manifests in the Chaturvyuha. Yeah. Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. For carrying out, manifest, when he is manifest in, the different Vaikuntha planets as the Chaturvyuha. So this is the Vyuha form. And the third is his form as Vibhava. Vibhava is the incarnations. Tomorrow we're going to celebrate Narsingha Chaturthi, right? So Narsingha Dev is the avatara. Yeah, avatara of the Supreme Lord. And the Dashavataras, which we sing, the Vamana, Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara, Varaha Avatara. All these are the avatars of the Supreme Lord who manifest on this earthly realm to perform various pastimes. So this is the Vibhava manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Yeah. So Para, Vyuha, Vibhava. Then fourth is the Antaryami. The Antaryami is the same Supreme Truth, Absolute Truth. He is present as Paramatma in each and every one of us. So that is the Antaryami manifestation. And the fifth is the Archa manifestation. Archa Vigraha. And the same Supreme Person is present in the form of deity. It's called the Archa Vigraha. So the beauty is, in all these 5 forms, 5 manifestations, the first 4 are inaccessible to the material senses. Like the Para form, the Vibhava, Vyuha, and Antaryami, we cannot see the Lord or touch the Lord. Yeah, or hear from him. These forms, these manifestations are inaccessible to the material senses. But the Archa Vigraha, in which the Supreme Absolute Truth is himself manifest, is accessible even to these material senses. So that is why the most merciful manifestation of the Supreme Absolute Truth is his Archa Vigraha form, because we can access him even with this material body and serve. So it is actually, these 5 manifestations are compared to the different forms of water. The Para form is like the water that is present in the clouds. So water that is present in the clouds, we only know it's there. We cannot access it. So the Para manifestation is compared to those clouds. Then Vyuha. So Vyuha is compared to that clouds when they rain in the ocean. So water is also present in the ocean, but it cannot be consumed. Yeah, so Vyuha is also that manifestation of the Supreme Lord, whose mercy is present, pervading, but it's still inaccessible. Then these oceans, when they run down as rivers, they are the form of Vibhava, that is in different time periods. they manifest. Yeah, the different incarnation are manifested in different time periods. In each yuga, one avatara manifests. So the reverse are compared to the vibhava. And then as these rivers run down, they sometimes sink into underground, and they manifest in each house as a well, right? When you're at home, you dig a well, and that's how you access the underground water. So this is the Archa Vigraha. So although the water is present in the clouds, and it may be present in the oceans, it may be present in the rivers, ultimately the water that you access is the well at your home from which you draw water. It's the most accessible. So the Archa Vigraha is supposed to be that well, directly accessible manifestation of the Supreme Absolute. And of course, the Antaryami aspect is also like, the water in hand, it is in tumbler, because it's within our heart. Ultimately, although the Lord himself is present in the Archa Vigraha, it is the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. It's the internal experience, the realization that we receive, by which we actually have that direct experience. So that's compared to the tumbler in the hand, the water which we actually drink, that which we experience. It's the Antaryami manifestation. So this is how one understands the position of the merciful position of Archa Vigraha, deity worship. So it is the easiest way of accessing and serving the Lord. So Krishna is also present in his different forms, but in no other form is he as accessible. And especially when we want to render some service to Krishna, how do we render service? So Krishna is absolute truth, staying in Goloka Vrindavan. We may just meditate upon him. And if we really want to serve him with this Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, with this material body, how is it possible? We cannot. So this is where Krishna, out of his mercy, descends as the Archa Vigraha. Once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, is Krishna inside the deity? Prabhupada said, no, Krishna is the deity. There's a difference between the two. Krishna is not inside the deity, he is the deity. Yes. So it takes a lot to realize this. In fact, the three levels of devotees, the Kanishta, the Madhyama, and the Uttama Adhikaris, they realize Krishna in different, they realize Krishna in his deity form in different levels of understanding. A Kanishta is a person who thinks Krishna is only present in the deity and he neglects the devotees. Yeah, this is the Kanishta behavior. The Madhyama, he respects the deities, and at the same time he understands that, the same deities also manifest in the hearts of the devotees, and the devotees are also worshipable. So this is Madhyama platform. Yeah. And an Uttamadhikari sees the deity not different from Krishna. He sees Krishna everywhere. He sees Krishna in the deity form. He sees Krishna in the heart of the individuals. There is no place that he does not see Krishna. So this is a vision of different devotees at the Kanishta platform, the Madhyama platform, and at the Uttama platform. So one should always try to rise from the Kanishta Adhikari platform and to the Madhyama Adhikari platform. So what is rising? A practical application is like, for example, it is said that if you're offering Arti to the deity, and at the same time, there has been a guest, a Vaishnava who walks in, and if there is nobody to receive that Vaishnava, then one has to stop the Arti, seek the permission from the Lord, attend to that Vaishnava, and come back again and complete the Arti. This is the Madhyama behavior. Yeah. So this is how important is Vaishnava etiquette. Yeah. So if we do not observe appropriate respects to the Vaishnavas, one has absolutely no qualification to stand in front of the deity. One cannot face the deities. Yeah, so this is the understanding one should have. So today, in today's discussion, I wanted to discuss about two prominent deities. One is the deity of Udupi Krishna, and the other is about the story of Sakshi Gopal. In my one of my previous video about deity worship, I've spoken about the deities of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the deity of Badri Vishal, and the different deities in different time of the different Vaishnavacharyas. But in today's discussion, I will just focus on the history, a brief history of these two very, very special deities, the deities of Udupi Krishna and the deity of Sakshi Gopal. So the deity of Udupi Krishna, yesterday, or day before yesterday, I guess, we celebrated what is called, on May 20th, recently, that's yesterday only, we celebrated Rukmini Dvadashi, the appearance of Rukmini Devi. So Rukmini Devi, 5,000 years ago, when she was in Dwaraka, so there's a beautiful explanation in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how Lord Krishna has married Rukmini Devi and brought her to Dwaraka. She was one of the first queens whom he has married. Rukmini was a resident of Kundina Gram, or Kaundinyapuram, which is still there in Maharashtra, few hours away from Pune, actually. This place is still existing. So her father, Bhishmaka, wanted her, like as a child, Rukmini Devi used to hear so much from Narada Muni about the glories of Lord Krishna. Yes, and when he heard about the glories of Lord Krishna from a pure devotee like Narada Muni, in her heart of hearts, she gave her heart to Krishna. And she decided, she made up her mind, it is Krishna whom I would want to marry and Krishna whom I will have as my husband. But her brother, Rukmi, he was very demoniac. He had all friends like Shishupala and the likes, very, very demoniac. So Rukmi did not want his sister, Rukmini, to get married to Krishna. He wanted her to get married to Shishupala. So without her consent, he arranges for a marriage between her and Shishupala. So knowing this, Rukmini becomes very scared that, I should get married to this person who's a hater of Krishna. I cannot do this. I would rather give up my life. But then I want to express my love to Krishna and ask him to come and take me. Thinking this way, Rukmini Devi writes a beautiful love letter of 8 verses. This is the first original love letter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very, very beautiful verses. She composes and she calls a Brahmana and requests him, "Oh Brahmana, please hand this over to Dwarkadisha Krishna." So this Brahmana, taking that letter, he sets off and he goes to Dwarka. All the way from Maharashtra, he goes to Gujarat, where the current Dwarka is. And as soon as he goes, because he was a Brahmana, he was allowed then, he was not stopped by any security personnel. He was given an undeterred entry straight away, right into the palace of Lord Krishna. And when Lord Krishna saw this Brahmana, he immediately gave him his personal throne to sit. And he did all the services and offered all respects to the Brahmana and asked him, why have you come so far? Then he told about this letter. Then, interestingly, Krishna told this Brahmana only to read out that letter, what is written in that. Then he reads out these beautiful verses written by Rukmini Devi. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinuvatam te nirvishya karna vivare bharatongatam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilathasamam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilathalabham tvayachitagata chittamapatrakam te. So she's telling, oh Krishna, Shrutva Gunan, I have heard about your glorious qualities. Yeah. And these qualities have really quenched my thirst. And please come and take me. In the future verses, she writes, please come, I am your property. And just like a lion comes and claims its properties and takes it away from the jackals, just come and please take me, protect me from these jackals like Shishupala. I have given my heart to you. I'm my heart, my soul, and myself. I am yours. I'm your property. And you, and come and take me. And she tells, the place where she will wait for him. And she also indirectly appeals to him that please cause no harm to my family members. Rukmini Devi is simultaneously very sensitive to her family people. So she signals him, I will come and wait here. So these are very, very nice verses. Actually, there is, I've made a 3-session series exclusively on Rukmini Devi. Very nice life lessons one can understand from the life of Rukmini Devi. Very, very beautiful story. So after that, Krishna actually comes and takes her and in front of everybody. Yeah, in front of everyone's eyes, Krishna just comes on his chariot very royally. He gets off, takes Rukmini Devi on his chariot, and he just, just like, an eagle sweeps away its prey. Now Krishna comes and takes Rukmini away and he leaves. So everybody would be awestruck just looking at what's happening. And Shishupala couldn't digest it. So there's a very nice conversation that happens later on. And so Krishna brings Rukmini to Dwaraka, and with great pomp, it was a celebration of Rukmini Kalyanam. Rukmini marries Lord Krishna. And then after some time, while in Dwaraka, coming back to the story of Udupi Krishna, would you like to mute yourself? Somebody is. So this is a story of Rukmini and Krishna, Rukmini Kalyanam. And while in Dwaraka, as I said, we're coming back to the story of Udupi Krishna. Once Mother Devaki, she had this great, very deep desire to witness the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Especially she heard so much about the butter stealing pastimes of Krishna. So she had, she said, I have never witnessed your childhood. And I really missed it. I've only heard of its sweetness. Then to please Mother Devaki, Krishna actually becomes that small cowherd boy, a 5-year-old cowherd boy. And looking at that beautiful form, Devaki couldn't contain her Vatsalya. And she actually starts churning butter for him. And Krishna, in that form as the small cowherd, he actually goes and, he holds that churning rod. He breaks that pot and he eats the butter and he, smears it all over his body. Krishna's, his naughty childhood pastimes as a butter thief. He starts performing this pastime. So Devaki, was like stunned in ecstasy. So as she was stunned in ecstasy, Krishna, takes the churning rod and the rope, and he stands, with his beautiful smiling face. So as Mother Devaki was witnessing this beautiful pastime of Krishna as a child, Rukmini Devi also sees this amazing form of the Lord as a small cowherd boy. She instantly falls in love with that beautiful form of Krishna. as Brajendra Nandan, as a simple cowherd boy. And she was so enamored by that beautiful form that she gets a deity carved out. I mean, after that, Krishna again assumes his youthful form as Dwarakadisha. But Rukmini couldn't get over that form. She was so much in love with that sweet form of Krishna as that cowherd boy, with that churning rod in his hand, with that mischievous smile on his face and holding the rope. That she graphically remembered that, and she could not forget that even for a moment. And she actually gets a deity carved out of the same form. And she worshipped personally in a place called the Rukmini Vana in Dwaraka. So this pastime has been described about by the various disciples of Madhvacharya. So Rukmini Devi personally worshipped this deity form of Krishna, of cowherd boy, as a cowherd boy. So after that, when Lord Krishna winded up his pastimes and he left, and the Dwaraka, the entire city of Dwaraka has vanished. The deity has become obscure from the human eye. It was not visible for a long time. And then it is said that the same very deity of Udupi, of that Krishna, he got locked up in Gopi Chandan. Some Gopi Chandan is a huge log of wood. So this is story 5,000 years back. Now, let's get back little ahead in time. This is during the period of around 1273 to 1300 BC. It's like a few thousand years ago. So it was a time where Madhvacharya, who was the beloved son of Madhyaghe Bhatt and Vedavati, and he appeared as their son called Vasudeva. At the age of 5, he took this Brahmana Diksha. And at the tender age of 12, he took sannyasa. And he lived in a place called Udupi, which is a more current day Udupi. So actually, originally Udupi, even before Udupi Krishna has manifested there, it was a place of pilgrimage. Yeah, actually, there were 2 prominent temples which still stand there. The Chandramaulishwara temple, which is a temple of Lord Shiva, and Ananteshwara temple. It's also the temple of Lord Vishnu. So this Chandramaulishwara temple is the temple where they worship Lord Shiva as the one who's carrying the crescent moon in his jata. So that is why Udupi also means it is named after Lord Shiva, the one who carries the crescent moon on his jata. So that was a place where, in this place of Chandramaulishwara temple, where Madhvacharya used to conduct so many debates, and he used to defeat so many Mayavadis. One of the Madhvacharya is very, very, very much famous for his strong debates against opponents and defeating the Mayavadi philosophy. That's why whenever you see the Vigraha of Madhvacharya, he appears like this too, Dvaita. So he's the one who established the Dvaitavad. Dvaitavad means the soul and the super soul are different. Jivatma is different from Paramatma. They are dual. So he established that, and he defeated the Advaitavad. And all these debates used to take place at this Chandramaulishwara temple. And Madhvacharya is non-different than the very same Bhima and the very same Vayuputra Hanuman has come as Madhvacharya. So Madhvacharya, as he was staying at this place called Udupi, he had a very strong desire, to worship the deity of Krishna, in his form as the cowherd boy. So, in his life, his life and pastimes are amazing. I don't have time to cover all that. But it is said like there is no acharya like Madhvacharya. It's a very, very powerful acharya of those times. So as he was carrying this deep desire, one day he was walking and he went to the ocean to take bath. And as he was going towards the ocean, he was composing something called the Dvadasha Stotra. It is still present. Dvadasha Stotra is still famous today, very much sung by the devotees in Karnataka. Prinayamo Vasudevam. That this is how it goes. This is a Dvadasha Stotra. Just like Annamacharya's kirtans are very famous in Telugu, this Dvadasha Stotra is very famous in Karnataka. And this is personally composed by Madhvacharya. So when he was composing this Dvadasha Stotra, he went and sat on a rock. And then he took his bath and he sat on a rock. And there at a distance, he saw a ship was, wrecked. And the people were literally calling out for help. There was a huge storm and, the ship was cast off from its direction. Yeah, and the people were calling out for help. So seeing this, Madhvacharya, he took his Uttariya and he waved. And by the waving of his Uttariya, the entire turbulence in the sea stopped. Everything became normal. And the ship slowly reached the coast. Everybody was, enthralled. Who is this personality? Just by the waving of his Uttariya, he commanded the ocean to settle down. So out of gratitude, they felt very strongly that it is by this saintly person's interference, that the ocean calmed down and we came to the ocean. So with gratitude, they wanted to offer something to him. And they said, please take whatever you wish. In the goods that we have, whatever pleases you, please accept. And Madhvacharya looked around and he said, I will take this Gopi Chandan. He said, with much pleasure, please take. So it was huge. The Gopi Chandan was very, very huge. Then, then Madhvacharya's disciples came and they took the Gopi Chandan and they started carrying that. And as they were walking down, all of them carrying the Gopi Chandan, it was very, very heavy. It is said that 30 disciples were, carrying the Gopi Chandan. And as they walked some distance, that Gopi Chandan broke apart. And from that, Madhvacharya's deity the deity of Bala Krishna, the Udupi Krishna, he came out. And as soon as, Udupi Krishna came out of the Gopi Chandan, the 30 disciples could not carry him. He became so heavy, so heavy. The same deity, as they were carrying him as the Gopi Chandan form, they carried for some distance. But as it broke open and the deity came out, they couldn't carry him. So at that time, when Madhvacharya saw the deity, he instantly fell in love. And with his own hands, he embraced the deity, and on his own shoulders, he put the deity of Krishna, and he alone carried it from that place until the temple where he stands right now. And on the way, he composed the remaining 7 verses, like Dvadasha Stotra 12, right? So as he was waiting, he composed 5, and on the way, he completed the remaining 7 stotras. 7 verses of the Dvadasha Stotra. And he, with his own hands, he embraced the deity and, he was crying in ecstasy, seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. And bringing the deity with his own hands, he bathed him in that Pushkarini, which you see right outside the Krishna Math of Udupi right now. He bathed him there and he installed him. And from his time, he established very, high standards of deity worship. If you have ever been to the Udupi Math, you can appreciate that the standards of Udupi Math are very, very high. So he established the standards of deity worship, and he also, made 8 different mutts. Yeah, and he brought in brilliant organization and administration, so that there are all these 8 mutts take turn in 2 years, every 2 years, and perform deity worship, with attention to the minutest detail and of the standard that has been set by Madhvacharya. So till date, the worship is going on according to the same standard that has been once set by Madhvacharya. So it is really amazing. If you ever go to Udupi, you should see, what kind of intensity they worship. Only the sannyasis are, enter the sanctum sanctorum, and only they perform the worship of the deity. And in that way, every, they have their, like, as I said, they get their turn after 14 years. Yeah, every mutt gets its, opportunity every 14 years. So what do they do in the next 14 years? The rest of the 14 years, they simply go around, preach, defeat the Advaitavad, and, establish the Advaita philosophy, and, gather funds for the worship of the Udupi Krishna. So this is what they do in the remaining 14 years. So it's amazing. If you ever go to Udupi, it's a festival to see the kind of deity worship that goes on a daily basis. And they have 13 such, offerings that go on every day. Very opulent, very wonderful, very amazing. It's really a festival to the, eyes and to the soul. So this is the deity of Udupi Krishna. And so deity worship is something, it's a very, very interesting topic. Once we start, it's so endless. So I thought I'll confine myself only to 2 deities, and already time is up. So I'll quickly start with the beautiful deity of Sakshi Gopalji. So Udupi Krishna ki jai. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is this beautiful description of how when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came towards this current day Katak. Yeah, there Nityananda Prabhu himself narrated to him the story of Sakshi Gopalji. So he told very instructive and very beautiful story indeed. If you hear the story, actually the details of it, we begin to understand actually what pleases Krishna. So Nityananda Prabhu began to narrate to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that long ago in South India, there was a place called Vidyanagar. And from this Vidyanagar, there were 2 Brahmanas, one elderly Brahmana and a younger Brahmana, who both went, on a pilgrimage up in the northern direction. So they went and bathed in various holy places like Prayagraj. And finally, they reached Mathura. And from Mathura, they have, entered Vrindavan. After visiting, the 12 forests of Vrindavan and even Govardhana, they finally came to this beautiful place, where there is the beautiful Gopalji's deity. And all along the journey, this younger Brahmana really rendered a lot of service to this elderly Brahmana in helping him walk and, bathe and, reach, especially when you go to pilgrimage, any yatras with elderly devotees, you'll understand what I mean. The elderly devotees actually need a lot of help. And it's very important that we extend ourselves, because we are young, we are enthusiastic, we can run around, but it's always nice. It's very nice to be enthusiastic, but it is even more nice and pleasing in the eyes of the Lord if we can care for the elders who are around us, who cannot walk as fast as us, who cannot climb up the stairs like us. If there is some help that we can do, maybe carrying their luggage or their water bottle, get them some water, help them sit, and if they're sick, attend to them. These are very wonderful services which make us very beautiful and attractive in the eyes of the Lord. So this younger Brahmana, actually served this elderly Brahmana very much. And this elderly Brahmana was so pleased with the service that he has performed. That when they were sitting, finally relaxing at this place near the near the Gopalji's temple, he wanted to really gift him something very, very, very precious for all the service that he has done. Then, in that state, this elderly Brahmana said, "Oh, my dear son, you have served me more than what my son could have ever served. I want to gift you something very precious. So today I say that I give my daughter, who is so dear to me, in charity to you. I want to give her hand to you in wedding. Please accept. This is my gift to you." Then that younger Brahmana, he was like, he said, "Oh, sir, please, I'm already blessed. It is my great pleasure to serve you. I consider that itself as a gift. I don't need anything else." But that elder Brahmana said, "No, you have done so much to me, and I want to give you something in charity. So this is what I offer you. Please take." And again, the younger Brahmana said, "Oh, Brahmana, you see, you are coming from a very high caste, and I belong to a very low caste. Though, in Brahmanas also there are different gradations. And so it might not be the best thing for you to do, to offer your daughter to me." Then the elder Brahmana said, "No, I don't consider all that. I'm very much pleased with what you have done to me, and this is what I'm giving you in charity. Please take." Again, the younger Brahmana came and said, "Oh, okay." Then again, the younger Brahmana said, "Oh, Brahmana, please think again. Okay. See, just as, give me a moment. So the younger Brahmana again said, "See, in those times, people were very, very realistic. Not that, they got something and they're excited about it. Yeah. He considered so many pros and cons. He considered so many pros and cons. He said, "Oh, Brahmana, see, just again, he mentions about Rukmini, Queen Rukmini. Although Bhishmaka wanted his daughter Rukmini to be married to Krishna, his son Rukmi, he did not want her to get married to Krishna, and he wanted to give her off to Shishupala. So, it's not that always the father's will prevails. Yeah. So please think about it." Then, again, the Brahmana said, "No, she's my daughter and she will listen to whatever I say. And my decision is the final. So I offer her to you in charity. Accept it." Then the younger Brahmana said, "Oh, so you are giving to me in charity today in front of this Sakshi, in front of this Gopal. So he himself is the witness. Can you promise me in front of this Gopalji that you give me your daughter in charity?" Then the elder Brahmana said, "Yes, today in front of this Gopalji, I am promising you, making him as a witness, that I am giving my daughter to you in marriage." And so the younger Brahmana said, "If there is any discrepancy, this Gopalji himself will bear the witness for it." Said, "Yes." So saying that, they will return, and they complete their entire pilgrimage and they return back to their respective hometowns. So after returning to the hometown, they went to their respective houses. So the elder Brahmana went and told this, news at home. After telling about all his pilgrimage, the news about his pilgrimage, where all he had been, he just relaxed and then he told, "By the way, I have met this Brahmana who helped me all through, and I have promised him that I will give my daughter in wedding to him." And they inquired, "Who's this younger Brahmana?" And they got to know, and they were like so dejected. "How could you do this? He is a Brahmana of the lower caste, the lower rungs. How can we give our daughter to him?" And immediately, the son comes into the picture, the Rukmi. He comes and says, no, you cannot do this. How can you give away my sister to that person? I won't agree. Then the elder Brahmana said, I have already promised. Then the son says, you can say that you have forgotten. You don't remember your word. So that's the way you can get away with it. So, the elder Brahmana comes under a lot of pressure from the family members. At the same time, he didn't want to go back on his word because he's a Brahmana. He's a man of word. Then internally he takes shelter of the Gopalji's deity. And he says, oh Gopalji, I have promised in front of you, but today, my family members are threatening they will die if I give my daughter to this Brahmana. So, for their sake, I'm in a dharma sankat and I'm just abiding by whatever they say. I will have to lie saying that I have forgotten. So saying this, the next day the young Brahmana comes to their home and he says, you have promised me to give your daughter in marriage. I have come to claim. Then the elder Brahmana says, I don't remember giving you any promise. And the younger Brahmana says, oh, don't say that. If you have promised in front of the deity, please see the, argument of the younger Brahmana. He is not mad about marrying the girl. He is concerned about, the virtue of a Brahmana. See, in those days, it was so important to stand by dharma. That was more important than one's own personal ambitions and personal desires and everything. He didn't even see the girl. Yeah, but, he was bent on upholding the, Brahmanical principles. He said, you have promised in front of the deity and, if you go back on your word and if you lie, that is bringing down the dharma of a Brahmana. And that will be, such a patan, that is a deterioration of the Brahmanical community. And, you should be protected from that. So saying that, don't say that. And, they take the matter into the public. And when they're discussing, the son of the elderly Brahmana, he comes into the picture and he says that, no, actually, this person is a rogue. He in the name of serving my father, he actually stole his money. And, he starts putting more and more, blemishes on him, more and more, apavad on him. Yeah. So at that time, the younger Brahmana says, if I call, so then the elder Brahmana says that, how do we prove it? There is no way to prove other than only when Sakshi Gopal, the Gopalji himself comes and stands as witness. Other than that, there is no way to prove that, I have given my daughter in charity. If he himself comes and, gives the witness that, yes, I have promised you to give my daughter in charity, then I will believe. And he makes this as a statement, just like that, knowing that, why will the deity all the way from Vrindavan, walk down southward and give a witness? It's an impossible thing. He just says, if he himself comes and gives a witness, then we will all believe that indeed I have given the promise. And the younger Brahmana actually takes it seriously. Says, okay, so I will bring Gopalji as a witness and let him come and give the witness to this. So saying this again, the younger Brahmana goes back to Vrindavan and offers his obeisances and prayers to the deity of Gopalji. And he speaks to him, oh Krishna. Krishna is called the Brahmanya Deva. He's very, very, Brahmanas are very dear to Krishna. So he said, you are the upholder of the principles of Brahmanism. So here's such a crisis. So please protect, that great Brahmana from going back on his word. Yeah. Please protect him from downfall. So, please come and give the witness that indeed he has promised. Then the Gopalji says, okay, you go back and to your village. I will come and I will manifest and I I will speak to them. Yeah. I will tell them that this promise was true. And this younger Brahmana, who's very intelligent, he said, no. If you just come and speak, they won't believe. You should come in this very same deity form. Only then they will trust. Then Gopalji says, okay, I'm pleased with your intensity, your devotion, and your intelligence. So I will come behind you in this very same form, but I have one condition. I will walk behind you and you will not turn back and see. Okay? And you will know that I'm coming behind you by the tinkling of my ankle bells. And whenever my ankle bells stop, you should understand that is, you have to come and offer me bhoga of 1 kg rice every day. So the younger Brahmana agrees to this. Then Gopal begins his journey. The younger Brahmana walks ahead and behind him, Gopalji walks. Imagine the deity walks. Yeah. There is this beautiful song, na? Yeah. So who says that the Lord does not walk? He's walking in his deity form with his ankle bells. So it is said that he walked all the way for 40 days. Yeah. For 40 days, he walked from Vrindavan to the current place, Katak, where he is right now, the Vidyanagar, South India. And stopping in between, and the Brahmana going and putting rice for him and offering him. Imagine what would have been the experience of this younger Brahmana with the deity walking right behind him. Yeah. And as he reached the village, he turned back to see whether he's coming or not. And when he turned back, he stopped. Yeah. And he said, I will not move from here since you have turned back. Then, and then you said, to this place, you call all the Gramvasis, and I will speak to them. So he invites all the entire public. Imagine all the people flock to the place to see Gopalji coming all the way from Vrindavan to this place and that to walking down. And he calls everybody assembles there. And as soon as the older Brahmana sees the deity of Gopalji, he falls flat. He offers obeisances. And Gopalji speaks in front of everybody, saying that I am witness to the fact that this older Brahmana has promised to give his daughter in charity to this younger Brahmana. And the older Brahmana feels so guilty of what has happened. He begs pardon, he begs forgiveness, and he immediately gives his daughter in wedding to this younger Brahmana. So in this way, from that day, because he has borne the witness, he was a Sakshi, who's called the Sakshi Gopalji. So this deity is present actually when you're coming on the way to Jagannath Puri. There is a place where this deity is still present and worshipped very opulently. So in this way, deities, in this verse, there is this beautiful verse that you're not Murti, Tumi Murti Nahi, Tumi Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. That is, the deity is not just a wood or stone or paper or paint. This Sakshat Krishna himself. And through devotion, we understand this. The deity speaks. The Prabhupada says the deity is ready to speak. Are you ready to hear? There in India, there are like the innumerable pastimes, such beautiful pastimes between the deity and devotee. So many pastimes. I just touched upon these two very famous deities of India. It is Udupi Krishna and Sakshi Gopalji. So I will just end here. So I'll just take any questions, comments. So today I'll just summarize what I have spoken on today. I spoke about the 5 manifest forms of the absolute truth. Can anybody say what are those 5 manifest forms of absolute truth? Number 1,
Para.
Krishna manifests as
Para.
Para. Yes. Para is which form of the Lord?
All knowing the Supreme Personality.
The omnipresent form of Lord. Yeah. Krishna is omnipresent. He's present everywhere. That is a para manifestation. What's the next manifestation?
Yuddha form.
Yes.
Yuha form.
Vyuha. Vibhava is third. Vyuha. Vyuha is the same Krishna manifests as a Chaturvyu. Vasudeva, Anuruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshan. The Narayana forms of the Vaikunthas. This is the Vyuha. Yeah. Para Vyuha. What is the third manifestation?
Vibha.
Vibhava. Yeah, Vibhava. So what is Vibhava? Vibhava is the incarnations. The incarnations like the Matsya, Kurma, Narsimha, Vamana, Parashurama. All these are the various avatars. This is a Vibhava. What's the fourth?
Antaryami.
Antaryami. So Antaryami is the manifestation as the Paramatma. And the fifth is
Archa Vigraha.
Archa Vigraha. Yeah. So the Supreme Absolute Truth is manifest in these 5 forms. And of these 5 forms, Archa Vigraha is the only form that is accessible to these material senses of sight, nose, and the only manifestation whom we can offer service through these gross senses and body. Yeah. Through these Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. That is why Archa Vigraha is very special. So after that, I just explained about the history of the deities of Udupi Krishna and that of Sakshi Gopalji. And what we understand through these deities, you know, how they are brought, how they are worshipped, and how they reciprocate to the ardent worship of the devotee. Actually, in Udupi, if you go, there is something called Kankan Kindi. There is a devotee called Kanakadas who belonged to a Shudra community, but he was a great devotee. And at that time, they were not allowed inside the temple. So this Kanakadas was just sitting outside the temple and he was just singing for the Lord. And the next day, actually, when the priests came and opened the altar, they saw Udupi Krishna. He has, the deity always faces east. But this Udupi Krishna, instead of facing east, he turned behind and he was facing his devotee Kanakadas, who was singing for him from outside the temple. Yeah, this is how Krishna reciprocates in his deity. And from that day onwards, you know, Krishna is, that's why, facing in the opposite direction than what he was actually installed. And there was a special window that was placed. It is called the Kankan Kindi. That is why if you go to Udupi Krishna, first you take darshan of Udupi Krishna through that khidki. It's called Kankan Kindi. Yeah. And then you go inside the temple. So it is, you know, the devotion of Kanakadas has been eternalized by this reciprocation of, you know, Krishna in his deity form as Balagopala at the Krishna Mantra. Yes. So that is why it is Tumi Murti Nahi, Tumi Sakshat Brajendra Nanda. Deity is not stone or wood. It is Krishna himself. And he brings evidence time and again with these beautiful pastimes, with this reciprocation to with his pure-hearted devotees. And especially in, you know, in the first situation, we saw, you know, how he reciprocated to the love of his devotees. And in the story of Sakshi Gopal, you've seen how he upheld the principles of dharma. Krishna is Dharma Veer. He always stands up for dharma. And the very purpose of his descent is to uphold the principles of dharma. And that he manifested through his form as the Sakshi Gopalji. Okay, I will end here. Any questions or discussions?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Dandavat.
Mataji, it is said na कि मतलब what pleases Krishna. But I was today reading a book, तो उसमें ये चीज था कि like दो चीजें दे रखी थी कि कमसान के बहुत सारे demons को भेजा गया था. But they also pleases Krishna because उन्होंने उनको टाइम दिया कृष्णा को अपने लोगों को हटाने का, तो वो प्लीज हुए कृष्णा उस चीज से. But on the other hand, यशोदा माता ने क्या किया था, कृष्णा को उठाकर नीचे रख दिया था ताकि वो दूध को, मतलब वो उबल के बाहर आने वाला था, तो वो वहां से चली गई थी और कृष्णा स्टार्टेड क्राइंग एंड ऐसे दिखने में लगता है इट डजंट प्लीज कृष्णा। तो एक्चुअली में इट इज लाइक विच मतलब योर डिवोशन इज अबाउट प्लीजिंग कृष्णा, और इट इज समथिंग लाइक टू फॉलो द फुट स्टेप्स और इंस्ट्रक्शंस ऑफ गुरु, मतलब लाइक दैट, क्योंकि मैं इसमें कंफ्यूज हो गई।
Just a second, Meghna. I didn't get your question. 1 second. Hari. Okay, yeah. So Meghna, I heard only one part of your question, that Yashoda Mai and about the Damodar Leela you're telling, right?
या माता
Yeah.
जी।
So what's your question?
No, not माता जी, यस आई थिंक सो, दामोदर लीला, हाँ आई थिंक सो कि वो उसी में से है। तो वो जब कृष्ण भगवान जी को छोड़कर चले गए थे दूध को करने के लिए, उसके बाद फिर कृष्णा भगवान जी बहुत रोने लगे थे, एंड इट सीम्स दैट इट डिसप्लीजेस कृष्णा, बट कृष्णा नोज द इंटेंशन कि वो क्यों गई थी, मतलब जस्ट टू सर्व हर हर तो प्योर डिवोटी मीन्स सर्विस। बट ऑन दी हार्ट कंसा ने भी जो डीमंस को भेजा था वो लोग भी सर्व कर रहे थे, मतलब इनडायरेक्टली, एक डायरेक्टली उसने सर्व कर दिया था, क्योंकि उसने कृष्ण भगवान जी को टाइम दिया था कि अपने जो मतलब लोग हैं उनको आप हटा सको, ऐसा मैंने पढ़ा आज, मतलब विक्ट्री ओवर डेथ में। सो इट्स लाइक व्हाट इज अ पॉइंट कि एक डिवोटी प्लीज करना चाहता है कृष्णा को, या फिर इट्स ऑल अबाउट इंटेंशंस, व्हाट इज द पॉइंट, मतलब यहाँ पर, क्योंकि यू सेड ना माता जी दैट इट इज अबाउट प्लीजिंग कृष्णा, सो प्लीजिंग तो वो भी है, लेकिन फिर वो कैसे ये मतलब मैच होगा।
Yeah. But like that, okay. So certainly I mean, there is no comparison between Kamsa sending demons and, Yashoda Mai not being in that anxiety to serve Krishna. Okay. So Yashoda Mai was, so you're referring to that pastime of Yashoda Maya and Damodar Leela, where she was milking Krishna, but it was a day of Diwali and she wanted to make wonderful sweets for the pleasure of Krishna. So she brought the best milk from the Padmagandha cows and she was boiling them. And, as Krishna was drinking her milk, she understood that, the milk was overflowing out. So she had to go and, stop the milk from, burning. So she puts Krishna aside and, she runs, protect the milk from getting overburnt. If not, the sweets won't manifest. So there is a famous debate. And when she did this, actually, Krishna got angry. That, if anybody is mothers here, they know that when you're milking a child and you stop them in between, they get very angry. They get very restless. Yeah. So Krishna got very angry. Why, mommy, Yashoda Maya left me. And he becomes very cranky and he starts breaking the pots. Yes, Andy. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the intention. So there's a long-standing debate here. What is more important here? You're milking Krishna. You're feeding Krishna. Same Krishna. And what's out there is the service to Krishna. Yeah. So Yashoda Maya was, intent on giving pleasure to Krishna because she wanted to make sweets, and to make the best of the sweets, she needs milk, and that needs to be well prepared. So her intention was, I want to make the best sweets for Krishna. So to run and to protect. Yeah. So in Vrindavan, there's always this confusion about the service, how to best please Krishna. Ultimately, the intention is to please Krishna. That's why Krishna surrenders to Yashoda Maya. So although momentarily he was displeased that, she has put me aside, but later when she runs behind him to catch him, he was sold out to her love. Yeah, because every moment, her intention was to how to serve him and how to please him. Yeah. So in that way, her love conquered over Krishna. Krishna sold him, he surrendered to the devotion of Mother Yashoda. In that way, she has conquered him with her love. Yeah, Krishna is conquered by the love of Mother Yashoda. Of that, there is no doubt. So because even when she has put aside Krishna and she ran to save the milk from burning, it is to give pleasure to Krishna. And that intention is known to Krishna. Another name of Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardhana. So Krishna, whenever you offer something to Krishna, he does not see the thing that is offered to him, but he sees the intent behind that thing. So he knew the intensity of Mother Yashoda, and always Krishna's ways are that he intensifies the love of his devotees through his ways. No matter how much love you have for him, Krishna acts in ways that he intensifies his love, your love for him. For example, the gopis who came to meet Krishna in the middle of the night, and on that beautiful day of Sharad Purnima, they ran all the way, leaving, Pati Suntanvaya, Bhatra Bandhavan, they left everything, customs, their relationships, their sense of security, everything they left behind just to reciprocate with Krishna's flute. They went to meet. And after some conversation, they expressed that, oh, Krishna, we came here to meet you, to offer a love to you. So Krishna hears all that. And he says, you go back. And after some time, there is this beautiful dance. And then he disappears. So why does Krishna disappear? After actually calling them. That is to intensify their love for him. So whatever Krishna does, in whatever state of devotion that you are, Krishna reciprocates in certain ways that would intensify the devotee's love for him. And ultimately, he intensifies, he churns out the best love from you, and then he becomes sold out to you. This is Krishna's style. Yeah, he puts you through a test, and then, it's like, it's struggle. And then through that struggle, we reach the next level of devotion, and Krishna becomes sold out. So this is the beautiful style of Krishna. So that's what he did with Yashoda Maya too. He was apparently angry that, she left me, but he knew her intent, that it was to serve me only. The beautiful Sandesh and Rasgulla. Yeah. So although apparently he acted angry and, he broke the pots and all, ultimately, he surrendered to her love. Until date, Yashoda Maya is celebrated. Why? Because with her love, she actually bound him. Yeah. So coming in August is Janmashtami. So Janmashtami is the birth of Krishna, which is celebrated only for one day. But this beautiful pastime of Yashoda Maya binding Krishna is celebrated for 1 month, the entire Kartik. So this is how, Krishna loves that, his devotee be more famous than him, more celebrated than him, more worshipped than him. So that's his desire. And that's how this whole pastime is celebrated. And so this is how Krishna sees the intention and reciprocates at his timing, not our timing. Oftentimes, we offer service and we think, yes, my intention is to please Krishna, but somehow the result is not according to my expectation. Right? Yes. Krishna, as I said, he brings out the best love from his devotees and he reciprocates beyond our expectations at his time. Yes. So this is the sweetness of Krishna. And this is the sweetness of his reciprocation with his devotees. And about Kamsa and sending the demons and all that. Yes, of course, Kamsa sent with the intent of harming Krishna only. Although, in the higher sense, it is something else. But as per Leela, it is for harming Krishna. It is for finishing Krishna. But, I will tell you one more beautiful thing. This was explained by His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj. How a devotee sees this. A devotee considers himself lower than the demons who attacked Vrindavan. Why? All the demons who attacked Vrindavan, like Aghasura, Bakasura, Vyomasura, Arishtasura, all these demons who attacked Krishna, they went to Vrindavan and they never returned back. But I am such a lowly devotee, I go to Vrindavan and I go back and I return home. So I'm much lower than all these demons. So this is how, a devotee sees, his position as someone so unqualified. So I hope this answers your question about intention.
Yes, Mataji, intention, but why Krishna is pleased, by the demons also, matlab, because saying that they are giving me time to, rescue my people.
So why Krishna is pleased? See, Krishna being pleased with the demons is different from Krishna being pleased with, his Gopakumaras and the gopis. See, Krishna gave, like the way he dealt with them is so different. Like the demons have come, Keshi demon came in the form of a horse. Bhagavatam explains how he killed Keshi demon. He actually puts his hand in the nose of the horse. And when he put his horse in the nose, put his hand in the nose of the horse, his hand turned into, red hot iron. That's how hot it became. And it caused immense suffering to the demon named Keshi. Yeah. So that's not a loving reciprocation, right? This is a purificatory reciprocation. Yeah. And and if you see his dealings with the Gopakumaras or the gopis, he plays with them, he exchanges food with them. And with gopis, there's beautiful, sweet pastimes that he performs. Nonetheless, he gives that good position to the demons because, when he was killing the demons, it gave pleasure to the Gopakumaras. It's one of the rasas. In the 12 rasas, one of the rasa is bhaya. Bhaya and, bhibatsa. So they contributed to the rasa of the pastimes with his cowherd boys and friends. So that's what Krishna is pleased about. That's why he liberates them. That's why, when he goes into the, all the Gopakumaras go into the Aghasura. Aghasura is a snake demon, He opens his mouth wide and all the Gopas go inside it thinking it's a cave. And, after that, he closes and, when Krishna enters and he kills the demon and all that. So, for some time, Aghasura acted as a playground to his friends, the Gopakumaras. So you facilitated their fun. So that is why I give you liberation. So this is the beauty of being the servant of servant. In some way, you give pleasure to Krishna's devotees. Krishna gives you, the highest. So, but there is a difference in which, ye yathamam prapadyante tam satayva bhajamyaham. The liberation that Krishna awarded to the demons is not equal to the position he gives to his devotees, like the Gopas and the Gopis. Yeah. So he gives them at the max, like, the liberation at the, of, Brahman or, something like that. But to the Gopas and Gopis, he gives an eternal position in the spiritual world. So it's different. The difference is always there. So the mood of approach towards Krishna is very important from the devotee's side. But Krishna is all merciful. Says in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priyaha. I am equal to everyone. I do not hate anyone, nor is anyone dear to me. But in whichever way you approach me, I reciprocate it. Hope this answers.
Yes, Mataji. But Mataji, after getting to Brahma Jyoti, they come back, they fall down or not?
Ultimately, it's the attitude. So after going to Brahman, Bhagavatam explains that, they fall down again. Yeah. Until one recovers one consciousness as the servant of Krishna. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavanaji. They'll be just going up and down. Even you go to Brahman, a person eventually falls down because they have not got the taste of Bhakti. And they go to Brahman and still they fall down because Brahman is not the constitutional position of a living entity. It's simply, Brahman means it is simply being freed from the material dualities. Brahman means a position where it's like, there is no happiness, there is no sadness also. There is no pain, there is no pleasure, no dualities. That is what is the state of Brahman. The dualities of material life are absent. At the same time, there is nothing, a state of nothingness. But that is not the constitutional present of an Atma. The Atma is by nature active in serving the Supreme Lord Krishna in different rasas. The soul is full of rasa. It is full of love. Until that is expressed, the soul is like fish out of water. It is not happy. That is why it falls down even after reaching the Brahman platform. Yeah, so this is explained by the example of the Chatush Kumaras. Chatush Kumaras are Brahman realized. But when they have entered Vaikuntha, when the fragrance of the lotus, the fragrance of the tulsi dala that has been offered to the Lord enters their nostrils, it invokes devotion in them. So devotion is a much higher platform than Brahman platform. So that is why they always come. Okay, so you have different levels of questions. I hope it's answered about the intention, about Brahman, and about Krishna being impartial and partial at the same time.
Please forgive, I just, compared Yashoda Maya with the demons, so please forgive me.
Well, you're trying to understand Krishna. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Hari
You
Bol.
always satisfied us.
Hare Krishna. Yes, any other question? Sridev Garu, I hope I could answer, Andy, what you asked. Intention is more important. Yes, you're right. Absolutely right, Andy.
Yeah, intention is important. And the other thing which I have understood from the little girl angel asking is, until we check on our ego, we just can't reach to the Brahman. Am I right?
Yeah, Brahman is beyond ego.
Yes. And like how Ravanasura has lost, in Sri Lanka today, the greatest person for them is Ravanasura because he's got a beautiful qualities. But the only thing is that he didn't work on his ego and not humble, he stumbled down. So I felt like I integrated your answers in a more. These are the things which are in me. With your answer, I integrated more. That one is intention is very, very important. When your intention is pure, even you're a demon, the Lord will make make us into Him, bring into Him, because the intention is pure of serving God. And when the ego is not shattered, we just can't reach to the higher states of our own soul consciousness. I hope I have understood it properly. This is what I've understood. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, in Bhagavatam 6th canto, there is an example of a demon. His name is Vitrasura. He is externally a demon, but internally he is a pure devotee of the Lord. Yeah. But here, the demons that are attacking Krishna while he was in Vrindavan, they are internally not at that platform of a pure devotee.
Yes.
So, like the ultimate realms they reach are quite different. Yes. Ultimately, what counts is the content of the heart. The content of the heart, or the intention with which we approach the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I think I have integrated it properly. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oma. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you all. I think it's 9:10. So it's let me stop the recording first.